Hey, welcome to the first video in the arm balance mini series. So before we even think about arm balancing, the first thing that's really important to do is to warm the wrists, the hands, the fingers. So the fingers become your brakes or even your levers to control the movement forward, back, side to side. Even they can help grip to lift. So it's really important that we prepare them for arm balancing. So we're just going to do a few little exercises, some little drills for a few minutes. And once you're done, your wrists, your hands, your fingers will be lovely and warm and you can jump into the next video. So you can do this seated. So starting, take the hands down by the side and just create fists and then release. So almost as if you're trying to use the release of the fists to get any water off your hands. So a little bit like you would here. Doesn't really matter too much whether the thumb goes on the inside or the outside. You can do both, whichever feels good. But really we're just working on warming up the fingers and the hands here. So keep doing that for a few breaths. Nice. Now take the hands out to the side and start clapping the fingers onto the thumb. So creating this motion, clapping away. I like to take the hands out to the side just because it kind of helps to warm up the shoulders and helps to warm up the arms as well, rather than kind of keeping them on the lap. But you can do whatever feels good. The main thing is we want to get into this repetitive motion. Maybe take the arms a little higher if you've gone there. You'll notice that the forearm starts to tire as well as you kind of do in this repetition. You also might notice that you started off really fast and now you've started to slow. Take it up a notch once more. Keep going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop them. I always feel like I've lost sensation in the hands by the time I finish that. Cool. If you want to as well, you can come to sit on the balls of the feet so that you've got your butt onto your heels, or you can release the toes, whichever feels good for you. We'll just be sitting like this for a couple more little drills. So take the hands and clasp them together. I like to try and keep the palms quite close to each other, which can make it a bit harder, but if you release the palms, that's fine. Just work on trying to bring them in. And then let's just take some circles. So it's almost like a figure of 8, kind of circling around. You might hear a few click and clacks or Burley sighing. Are you not enjoying the wrist warm up, Burley? Probably thinking about what time it is, when her next meal is. Okay, take the circle the other way. Notice if one way feels different to the other way. It might do, that's fine. And then go again. Forward. So just getting some blood flow in here. Taking some movements we kind of don't really do generally, and back again. Nice. From here, turn the fingers out away from you. Feel that stretch across the shoulders. Really press the fingers away. So you're pressing the hands away, the fingers are going into the backs of the hands. Nice. From here, close the hands back together. Now let's turn them out again. Keep breathing. Notice where you feel any stretches or maybe a little bit of discomfort. Take the hands back in and out again. Nice, release that. And just give the hands a bit of a shake out. Cool. Okay, from here we'll come onto all fours. So we're stacking the hips over the knees, and the hands are coming just underneath the shoulders. You can tuck the toes here. So to start with, we're just going to sit back into the heels and then come forward. And we'll just start doing this slowly. We don't want to rush into anything really. With the key, I think, with warming up any part of the body is to ease into it and then start to take it deeper. You can untuck the toes, come down lower if that feels good. See how far you can take the shoulders over the wrists. They might not go very far today, and that's fine, they will over time. It's just working on that range that you've got. Nice. From here, we'll just take some circles. So go out one way and create the circle. Try not to just ignore the rest of the body here. So, we really want to be engaging the belly. And then take the circle the other way. Nice. You can have the toes tucked or untucked for this. It really doesn't matter, whatever feels good. One more time each way. See if you can take the circle a bit bigger now that we've been doing this for a while. And just notice if there are already, some bits where you're like, ooh, okay, I noticed that. That feels a little bit uncomfortable or doesn't feel very natural. That's fine. Just keep breathing. Don't push it too much. We're just warming up. Cool. From here, we shall turn the palms so that the fingers face the long edge of the mat. And we'll also just take some shoulder movements here. So inhaling, drop the shoulder blades together. As you exhale, spread the shoulders apart. Really grip the fingertips into the mat here. Inhale, drop the shoulders. Exhale, press them apart. This is similar to a cat-cow, but we're not actually doing anything with the tailbone. We're trying to keep the spine kind of long, so the neck long. So not taking the rolling motion that we would with the cat-cow, but certainly just bringing the shoulders in towards each other and then spreading them. Then from here, let's just take some circles again. So this time, it might feel a bit weird, kind of with the hands this way. It's not particularly natural. So take them the other way and just really grip the fingers into the mat here. So you should feel this going through the forearm and obviously through the wrist. You should feel the fingers are starting to warm now. Go the other way as we've generated a bit of heat. Nice. Come back to stillness here. Okay, now turn the palms back. So the fingertips are facing the knees. And take this nice and slow because this is a big stretch. So you might want to tuck the toes and then just slowly start to come back towards the heels. So if the padded part of the palm lifts when you go all the way back, that's fine. And again, just take it nice and slow. There's no need to rush these movements. We're just waking up all the different variations of the positions that we can have our hands in. So this one is good for prepping for any arm balance, but in particular Mayurasana, which we will have in the series. And it's nice to just gently come into it. Cool. Now come back to the center and take one palm and turn it so that it's now got the fingers facing in towards the long side of the mat. And we're just going to create fists here and then release. And if you can, you'll keep the arm relatively straight. If not, and you need to pop a bend in the elbow, that's cool. Really, we're just working on pressing the backs of the hands into the mat and really just taking the hand kind of like the opposite to what we'll be doing with lots of the forearm with lots of the arm balances. So keep creating your fist, and you may not make much of a fist, so just set the intention that that's what you're trying to do, and it will grow over time. Nice. Now take the hand back so it's the same as the other one, and we'll do the same on the other side. So you can see me, I've got the palm facing upwards, I've got the back of the hand down to the mat, and I'm creating fists and releasing. So I'll take that back in so it's under the shoulder, fist and release. Again, you can bend the elbow if that feels good. And again, while you're in this posture, you know, just engage the center of the body. So, you know, turning on the abdominals, making sure you're not just like letting the belly sag, but trying to engage the belly. It's all just good work, and it's all needed for arm balancing. Take a couple more of those. See if the more you do, the easier it is to keep the elbow relatively straight. Nice, and release. Okay, come back to sit on the heels for a moment. Just shake that out. Should feel nice to just give the wrists a bit of a shake out after that. I mean, we've actually had quite a lot of weight bearing there onto the hands, so that'll just be a flavour for how it will feel when we start arm balancing. Okay, from here, come down onto the forearms. So come back to having the knees roughly underneath the hips and coming onto the forearms. And now create fists. So the baby finger, the little finger of each hand, is coming to the mat. And I like to tuck the thumbs in for this. You'll see why in a moment. Make sure that they're roughly shoulder distance. Now this is just a little micro movement, something my teacher always gets us to do whenever we're warming up for inversions or arm balances. And it's just lifting the whole fist off the mat and putting it back down. So it's a really small movement, but you'll feel where your edge is and you can't go anymore. And you'll know you're at your edge because you'll start lifting the forearms to compensate. So try to keep the forearms down and just see how much you can lift the little finger up on each hand, on each fist structure. Once you've done that a few times, plant it, and now we roll over. So you might need to walk the knees in slightly. So we'll roll all the way over. So the backs of the thumbs are going to go into the mat. You'll feel that stretch down this top side of the arm. Come back over, see if you can roll over and come back. So again, you know, these are not the kind of stretches that we kind of see a lot of, but they're really good for just building strength in the forearms, in the wrist. And then come back. Cool. From here, we'll come back to seated. Just take a couple of more before we finish and before you're done. So again, we'll just clap the fingers together. It's a nice way to just loosen up after the weight being on the hands. Take the fingers and interlace them so you've clasped the hands, and just create the rock here from side to side. And forward and back. And then just lightly hold on to one wrist. So I say lightly because you don't want to be really gripping this, but just start to take circles with your hands in a fist. So you've got one hand in a fist and the other one is just stopping this happening. So what sometimes we will do subconsciously is we're moving the whole arm to get that rotation and to get a bigger rotation, but actually we want to isolate the wrist here. So I'm pretty stable in the arm, I'm not moving it massively, but I'm just circling it, and it actually massively reduces the size of the circles because obviously I'm not using the arms to get me there. Okay, switching hands, create your fist and just create some circles. And just notice like what's my range like in each side. So, you know, one side tends to be stronger than the other. And you may notice that throughout your practice, but certainly through these warm-ups where we're kind of really focusing in on one particular part of the body or a small group. Nice. From here, another shake out. This is always a great way to just get some blood to the fingers. And then you're done. So wrist warm-ups, the wrists now should feel ready to roll. I would recommend that you're doing these sorts of preparatory exercises and drills before any yoga class where you're going to be doing a lot of vinyasas, or any yoga class where you're going to be doing a lot of work on the hands and the wrists. It just helps keep them nice and strong, not to wear them out, and to give us a really solid foundation for the whole yoga practice, not just arm balancing. So hopefully you found that useful. If so, please drop me a comment, let me know how you found it. And now you're ready to move on to the next video. So I'll see you back here for the first proper arm balance video.